You're listening to iCannabisRadio.com.
Hello, and welcome to In the Lab with Genifer. Oh, thanks. It's great to be back. I was not here last week, so I apologize for that, but this is the last show of the year. It's been a very exciting year. I've almost been on iCannabis Radio for an entire year. At the end of January, it'll be my 1-year anniversary. But I am going to do some changes. I believe that In the Lab with Genifer might cut out some people that might want to listen to a show about cannabis, and ultimately over the year, that's pretty much what it has been about. It hasn't been, about In the Lab. So I think I'm going to change it up a bit, change the name, and I'm going to call it Everything Cannabis. Because that's pretty much what I do, is I speak to different people in the industry about different things, and I don't want to pigeonhole myself just to the science, even though I love the science and will still continue to speak about the science, especially if something big is coming up. But I don't want to limit my listenership for people that maybe aren't interested in the lab. So with that said, first I'd like to talk about the fundraiser that the Hemp Connoisseur magazine and Mahatma Concentrates are having at Castleman's tomorrow night to celebrate New Year's Eve. And fitting as it is the end of Prohibition, the party is Prohibition is over. They'll have a swing band. It'll be decorated. There are going to be flapper girls, casino-style games, and it's all coming from the Prohibition era. So very cool, very exciting, but even better, it is a fundraiser. So I encourage you all to come out to Castleman's tomorrow. Doors open at 9. Tickets are $100, but again, fundraiser. We can't do enough fundraisers. There'll be live music, and there'll also be a dab bus, food, and everything like that. So make sure you're consuming cannabis in a safe place. Speaking of that, yes, legalization comes, and we're going to have a big party, Cannabition, that I've been talking about on the radio show. And we're not able to do that. Well, not me, but unfortunately, the place that they were gonna have it, decided not to oblige. So they changed it to another venue, and then that venue actually got a hand-delivered personal note from the city and county of Denver saying that there will be legal action taken. Really sad, because after all, we voted 55%. I'm not asking to go smoke near your children or in the normal bars, but I would like to go to a place that is safe and that I can consume cannabis. And I'm sure that there's many others that want to do the same. And unfortunately, the city and county of Denver is shutting that down. So I am not sure what's going on. I know there's 420 Tours. My 420 Tours is still trying to put something together, but I'm not sure. I'm sure you can check with them at my420tours.com, and they'll keep you up to date on that. But it's Wednesday, so I don't know what's going to happen. And that really is a bummer, because we should be able to celebrate after all. So it's going to be a very interesting show today. I invited Alan Brockstein back. He is fabulous and the stock analyzer, and he can talk more about that. And then we're going to have on Vincent, and I won't even say his last name, Mehdizadeh. Mehdizadeh from MedBox, which ticker is MDBX, and MedBox claims to be a leader in providing consulting services and patent systems to the medical and retail industries. So we are going to talk to him and Alan today. And then if you'd like to call in, there's a number at iCannabisRadio.com, obviously, where you're at right now, and you would be able to do so. If not, you can also type in questions, which probably would be better, and then I'll try to get to all of those. If I can't get to those, we will hopefully be able to do this again, so all your questions do get answered. So let's start off by calling Alan. Get him ready to go.
Hello?
Alan?
Yes.
Hi, you're live on the air.
Hey.
Hey.
Is this Georgia?
No, it's Genifer.
Oh, there's a delay. How are you? I'm sitting here listening on the internet, and I'm like, wow, she's about to call me. It's ringing. I better get this person off the phone.
Oh, really? That's hilarious.
It's you, though. How are you?
It's me. I'm good. I'm really good. I'm excited to have you back, and I apologize that I had to cancel last week. This was all supposed to go down last week. But how was your Christmas?
It was good.
Holiday.
Belated happy birthday to you, by the way.
Oh, thank you very much. Appreciate that. So nice holidays and everything?
Yeah. I had the flu, so that always makes it fun. And
no. Did you get
besides that, perfect.
Did you get a flu shot?
That I will be doing in the future.
Really? Because I
wouldn't.
wouldn't.
The last time I got it was like 12 years ago, and my wife told me I needed to do it, so I always do what she says, at least the first time. And I got the flu that year, and I hadn't had it like in years, so I said, you know what, I'm just not messing with that anymore. But actually, she's right. Everybody should get the flu shot.
See, I totally come from the different thought process since I majored in microbiology. You don't want to inject the virus into your body.
Well, see, I hear that, but that's not what my wife says, so I'm going to...
Always listen to your wife, and Alan, I'm not your wife, so there's your answer. I've never gotten a flu shot. Knock on wood, and I've never had the flu. So anyway, all right, so we're about to start. Is there anything else you'd like to talk about before we get Vincent on the line?
No, he should be in a really good mood, though. His stock was up 28% today.
His stock was up 28% after it dropped 50%? When did
it's been dropping. I don't know. It depends on when you're looking from. But today was a really good day for all the stocks. I track these things daily, and usually one or two stocks trade about $1 million. I'm looking right now. 3 stocks traded over $3 million today.
Wow.
And his stock traded over $1 million. It was like almost triple the average volume. So a lot of excitement. You're right in the epicenter of it. So I'm not so sure that it necessarily that people are necessarily connecting the dots properly. But I think there's Colorado going legal on midnight tomorrow night has some people excited.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, there is super excitement here in Colorado. I mean, really, it's insanity. From the legislatures to the police to the lawmakers to the marijuana enforcement division. They're all trying to get all this stuff packed in, of course, in a timely manner.
The world's watching, right? So hopefully they do it right.
The world is watching.
The world is watching, I'm telling you.
I know.
Hopefully it goes well, and I just read the ArcView State of the Cannabis Markets report, and I think they're predicting, it was some really big number to be legal in the next 5 years. So,
states?
Yeah, states. So obviously what happens in Colorado over the next few months in Washington later this year will kind of set the stage for that. But there was like a double-digit number, way more optimistic than I'd expected. So I was glad to see that.
Yeah, my prediction is 5 years federally legal.
5 years federally. Yeah, I mean, we've been talking at 420 Investor about 2020 sounds like a nice year. That'll be the last year of the next presidential, end of the next presidential term, basically. So
sure.
That's about 5 years, 6 years,
right.
something like that.
Right. Yeah. 2020, that would be kind of cool.
Yep.
All right. Well, let's get Vincent on the line and get this moving.
Sounds great.
Great.
Good afternoon. Thank you for calling MedBox. This is Candace. How can I help you?
I'm so sorry. I thought I had a direct line. We're live on the air, and I was hoping to get a hold of Vincent. He gave me this number to call.
One moment.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Vince with MedBox speaking.
Hi, Vince. It's Genifer with In the Lab with Genifer and Alan Brockstein from 420 Investor on the line. How are you?
Fantastic. Thanks for having me on, Genifer. I appreciate the opportunity to introduce MedBox to your listeners.
Absolutely.
Hey, Vincent. It's Alan. How are you?
Doing good. Doing good. I also wanted to offer a counterpoint to many of the statements that Alan's made about the company recently. So I appreciate the time today.
Yeah, no problem. I mean, we're just here to discuss things and, figure out some stuff. But Alan just said that your stock was up 28% today.
Yeah, we just focus on running a solid company. We don't really look at the stock price too often. The best you can do in the sector when you're the most visible one, like MedBox is to just have sound ethics and keep disciplined and not really be focused on everything around you, because there's so much going on in the industry right now.
Sure. Now, when did MedBox start?
We commenced operations in 2010 as a private company, Medicine Dispensing Systems, and in August 2012, I sold the private company to the public company and then rebranded it MedBox with a ticker symbol of MDBX. And primarily, we are an expert consultant in the medical marijuana industry, and we also provide patented technology in the form of biometric dispensing machines that control inventory. The actual client, patient, never interfaces with the machine. I have the patent on that version of it, but we don't offer that configuration because social sentiment is just strictly not there yet. So we put our machines behind the counter and have it act as like an internal auditor, if you will, that doesn't take breaks, doesn't require a salary, and doesn't steal. So that obviously lends itself to mitigating loss prevention and whatnot, and it aids compliance and tax reporting as well.
Mm-hmm. But if it's behind the counter, somebody has to use it for the consumer, correct?
Absolutely. It's hooked in. We develop software that is hooked into the machine through a point-of-sale module. Mm-hmm. And once a patient is at the counter, they're verified through the system by the dispensary employee. They're shown different strains of medicine. And what a lot of our operators do is the MedBox itself, the software, allows for a counter dispensing option. So at the point of sale, the operator can choose whether or not they want to dispense over the counter or they want to dispense through the machine. And a lot of our clients, they put their very high-end flowers in the machine because it's temperature controlled, it's in a light-deprived environment, and it's tamper-proof. You don't have people nosing through jars of pot, and it's just more security, and a lot of our clients, they live by that because they like the system. So
interesting. Well, I remember first hearing about MedBox back, maybe 2011. I'm not really sure. And I was actually surprised because I know my experience in Colorado is people go to the dispensary every day. They love it. They love the girl or the boy behind the counter. They love to see the new things popping up, and that I never dreamed that anybody would ever want to buy marijuana out of a video machine, because it is very social. It is not like the liquor store where you can go and you get a bottle of vodka. You may know your liquor store guy, but this is very social, and it's very face to face, and people love to put their nose in the jar.
Absolutely, that's true.
That's
why there's still sample containers in the glass cabinet that actually has all the samples that are inside the MedBox. We're not trying to take the consumer element away at all. In fact, we supported an outright ban on pot vending machines in San Diego, for instance, because that's not our business model at all. Our business model is you don't take anything away from the customer service element. You still have the friendly bud tenders, but you just have the medicine, the premium medicine in our machines that are temperature controlled and light deprived, and you're not taking anything away from the retail environment at all.
Okay.
So that's how our machines work, and we haven't offered a direct access configuration for a couple years now. We deviated away from that because part of being a progressive company is really looking at the market and seeing what works.
Right.
And the reality is it just wasn't there. In 2011, when I was marketing these machines, everybody thought it was so great and fantastic, and it was new technology. But then I started saying, you know what? I don't want patients fumbling at these machines trying to serve themselves. It doesn't make sense. So I basically figured out another configuration that made it work. And and if you look at companies that have been relevant over the decades, like Microsoft and Apple, anytime they introduce a new technology, that's not the technology they usually roll with long term. It is something that is introduced to the market, and then they fine-tune it as the years go on, and that's kind of what MedBox did.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, because that was that was just something that came to my head then, is that it's just such a social thing that I see people, they don't buy ounces because they like to come in. They do.
Completely.
So
completely. And part of what MedBox is, we are a friend to the industry. We're always there in a heartbeat. I've personally made sure that when our stock really was featured on Wall Street Journal and we began to have a lot of notoriety, that we used it in the right way. I wanted to create a corporate giving program, and we did, and that's why we donate a lot of money to Marijuana Policy Project and Americans for Safe Access and Drug Policy Alliance. These are the industry advocates that are really making change. Everything you're seeing in Colorado was sparked by these different organizations. So,
along with
MedBox
you forgot one.
We've donated.
You forgot one. Sorry.
$1 million over the last year, and I have personally to those organizations as well. And that's why you're seeing such dramatic change in the industry that we're all benefiting from. So.
Sure, you forgot one there, and that's the National Cannabis Industry Association.
Absolutely, yeah. We are a card-carrying member.
Yes, they are.
Of that organization as well. Didn't want to leave them out.
That's okay. They have been doing a ton on the federal level, so I don't want to leave them out by any means. Okay, so how come I don't see any med boxes in Colorado?
We just haven't focused on that market. Basically, it was such a fast-moving market, and it's so far away from California. When I first launched this company, we thought about focusing attention on California, and then we branched out to Arizona, did phenomenally well in Arizona. We help people get licenses. So in Arizona, for instance, out of the 97 licenses granted for that state, our clients got 20 of them. So we were very, very active in Arizona. And then we branched out to Massachusetts, and we're also doing Washington now, and Nevada and Illinois that are coming up, in Oregon. In Colorado, it's not that we didn't want to focus on Colorado. It was just moving so rapidly, I felt like if I spread myself too thin, and the company did, we'd have mediocre results instead of having great results in the different markets that we targeted. Mm-hmm. So that's pretty much it.
Okay, well, to be fair, though, in Arizona, you got people licenses that included the MedBox. It wasn't the MedBox. People came for the MedBox. It was that you arranged to help people get licenses, and once they had a license, they had to sign a year contract with MedBox, correct?
Let me correct that.
Okay.
That is absolutely not the case.
Okay.
These people, our clients, actually came to us based on the technology, because we were doing media interviews in Arizona, and it was so new, we had about 1,000 hits within the first few weeks of the law passing in Arizona. And it was based on our media interviews that we did featuring the technology. And people really liked the fact that they can control the transparency and the accountability through this technology. So what we did is we signed up our clients and said, look, this technology can be purchased once you are licensed. Let's go ahead and get you licensed, and then the technology is purchased after licensing is completed. So we charge a consulting fee up front, and then once the licensing happens, then we charge for the machines. There is no year-long contract or anything even remotely close. I think what you're referring to is quite simple. MedBox has had over 400 clients since 2010. 99% of our clients have paid their fees and paid their money. We've had maybe 1%, and that was out of Arizona, that after we got them licensing, a period that took 3 years to do because it was a stop-start in Arizona through different governor challenges in that state.
Right, I know.
So
I'm familiar, yeah.
Yeah, our contract was for a year saying that, okay, well, we will file your application, and the term of the contract was a year. But our attorneys, when they were drafting that contract, didn't think that we wouldn't be able to, through some type of government event, not be able to file those applications. So it was a situation where we were on hold for a year and a half waiting for that application to be filed. And meanwhile, our clients, 99% of them, were like, okay, cool, file it when you can. And the other 1% were also like, okay, cool, file it when you're able to. When we were able to, for that 1%, we filed it. They cooperated with us. We got them the license, and then they said, oh, wait, your contract expired. To which we said, but you agreed to have us continue services for you, and we filed your application. And they tried basically not buying the technology after we had already got them a license, and they were obligated to fulfill their contract.
Oh, yeah, understood. Yeah. I totally
get that. So
get
that's what happened, and we sold off those debts to a third party. We kind of thoroughly vet our clients now to make sure that they're financially capable of fulfilling their contracts, because the vast majority of them were. But there's always that 1% that just doesn't want to pay their bill.
Okay, so are 99% of people in Arizona happy with the MedBox? How many people have re-signed?
There's no re-signing. It's just how our contract works. It's pretty simple.
Okay.
Once we give them technology, they are a MedBox consulting client, and there's a monthly fee that kicks off after the first year to give them industry support and technology and software assistance. Mm-hmm. That fee is only $4.95 per month after the first year. Mm-hmm. During the first year, it's $79 a month. So we haven't even gotten past the first year of them operating with our technology, and I mean, our clients are extremely thrilled with us. We won a landmark lawsuit on behalf of the entire industry in Arizona. We were the ones to fund it because, through no fault of their own, our clients and also everybody in Arizona was really getting screwed because local municipalities were saying that we understand you have a state license, but we're not going to give you zoning approval on a local level, and that was stopping these dispensaries from being erected. So we went in and actually spent the money and got a court order telling the local municipalities that they can't do that, and that AZDHS would have to go ahead and extend the licensing renewal period for an entire year. So we bought all of our clients and also the entire industry in Arizona an entire year more to erect their dispensaries because, through no fault of their own, they were being thwarted in their attempts to. This is not something that a company that is business as usual does. This is the kind of stuff that a company does that cares about what people think about them and sentiment in general. So that's who we are, in a nutshell.
Okay. So if that is the case, then why has there been such a stigma around MedBox?
I think it's quite honest that our stock price being as high as it was, I mean, after the Wall Street Journal interview where I was quoted and our stock price just went on a tear, for a couple days on limited volume. It went all the way up to $215, and at that point, the company was worth about $4 billion, and I was worth about some obscene amount of money. The reality was I wasn't out popping champagne. I realized that we needed to protect investors, so I issued a press release the very next day stating, hey, you know what, I tempered everybody's enthusiasm and told them to make sound investment decisions. Since then, our stock price went down a little bit a couple days after that press release, but then it went up to 100 again based on media interviews that we did live with CNBC and other news outlets. And that's part of the reason why I think there might be a stigma that you're referring to, although I haven't really seen it firsthand. Everybody's been outwardly supportive of our company and what we've accomplished. And we've done a lot this year. It's been an amazing ride. And I think in general, anytime you're the most visible company in any space, whether it's Microsoft or Apple, you're going to get detractors. It's just
well, I don't know if you're the most visible stock in marijuana. I don't know about that, but
would you? I mean, we've had over 10 television appearances live with.
I understand that, but I've been on all of that too. We've been featured in
the Boston Herald, the Wall Street Journal, Bloomberg, Business Week.
No, and I get
Chicago
that.
Tribune, Los Angeles Times.
Vincent, I get it, and I've been in a lot of those too because there is a marijuana frenzy right now. It is everything, anything and everything marijuana. People want to be a part of it, and if they can't be in a legal state, they want to invest in it, and if they can't invest in it, they want to volunteer. And so,
let me ask you, Jennifer, have you seen any other companies on CNBC Closing Bell with Marina Bartiromo live? I haven't seen any other ones.
But that doesn't make MedBox a solid company. That does
not. We're talking about visibility.
Okay, visibility.
That's all we're talking about.
Okay.
And I'm not trying to argue with you. I have better manners than that. But we're just talking about visibility. And you said, what makes you think MedBox is the most visible company in the marijuana space? And I think that's quite clear. I mean, our market capitalization dwarfs any other company in the space. We don't have hundreds of millions of shares issued and outstanding like other public companies in our space that Mr. Brockstein likes to tout a lot. You know what?
On that note,
what? I'm sorry.
Hold on.
Is that the word you used?
Hold on.
Yeah, you tout other stocks.
Tout. That's an interesting choice of words.
Okay, well, so let's have Alan be able to talk a bit right now, Vincent, since I've given you a lot of time to talk. And listen, we're just talking about this. That's all. We're not arguing. I'm just simply saying that visibility, anybody in the marijuana industry that wants to be visible can. It's that easy. It's not that all. I mean, really.
I disagree, but okay.
Okay. Okay, Alan, let's start with some of these reporting things.
Yeah, well, I want to start just with a statement because well, first of all, Vincent, I publicly stated that I've praised you for stepping off your stock and warning people. So, I've said that before, and I also want to say that I've been negative on your stock and have been disappointed with a lot of things that I've learned about MedBox since February. And maybe I don't say this enough, but I admire your entrepreneurial drive and the dedication that you've shown your company. So I'm glad we have a chance to talk today. I'm not exactly sure what I said that bothered you so much, but I do recall, and that's really my first question. I mean, I tend to look at companies' press releases and filings. Do they do what they say they're going to do? And that's probably 99% of my issues with your company, not with you, but with your company. But the one thing that Genifer and I were talking about on the show was that you guys did announce 3 acquisitions. In fact, you press released that there were going to be 4, but you announced 3, and only one of them closed. 2 of them have ended in litigation. So how do you explain that to your shareholders? I've never heard you address that.
Well, it's pretty simple. We did address it in the registration statements that we did file with the SEC. And, when you are given a market capitalization and are blessed with that amount of investor interest as we were, you think of ways to bring value to the company. And part of what we were trying to do is bring value in other ways besides our core business model through acquisitions. MedVend was one, and BioTrack THC was another. Those two failed because on one of those instances, the company misled us and didn't disclose items that we then talked about in the lawsuit that we filed against them. Basically, they didn't get their shareholders' consent to sell an interest to us, which is out-and-out fraud. So we took them to court, and we're doing well on that. The other issue with BioTrack THC, we found out that their spirit of partnership wasn't really what we were looking for. So we exited that deal as well. The one that we did complete was Vaporfection. We were very excited about what that deal brings to the table. And one of the criticisms that you had, Alan, in us picking up a vaporizing company is you didn't understand how that fit in with our business model, which caused me to scratch my head because I'm thinking to myself, we directly market to dispensaries, and states like Massachusetts have mandated the use of vaporizers in dispensaries. So how that doesn't go hand in hand with each other is just, I don't know. It's strange. Can you comment on that?
I understand a little bit better that you're marketing through the dispensaries. It just looked like when you have two lawsuits coming out of three of your acquisitions, and then the other one, if your core business is so strong, which that's going to be my next line of questions, and then you have to go out and do an acquisition like that, it just looks suspicious. But I hear where you're coming from. So you're selling into the same customer. I get that. Pretty crowded space, by the way.
Oh, that's very crowded.
It's not crowded when you think about what our vaporizing line actually brings to the table. It's glass-on-glass heating that is non-combustion, so you're not burning the physical plant. To me, when I saw that was a game changer for me. And instead of picking up a pen vaporizing company, I wanted to actually have something that's patented, which this is, and it's unique.
And it's a personalized. I'm sorry, is it a personalized vaporizer or a? It's
both. We have a tabletop version called the ViVape.
ViVape, okay.
And then the portable one we're actually debuting at Champs next month called the MyVape, and that is probably the cleanest vapor I've ever experienced. I'm a fan of the plant myself. I live in a medical state, so I use it medically over here in California, but. It's phenomenal. It's absolutely the best vapor.
So let me ask you about that because like Alan was saying, I mean, the market seems to be absolutely flooded with vape pens and they all just seem to be subpar. How glass on glass? So explain to me how that is going. It's going to be a better device then, because something's burning, or there's a wick burning, or you never get the good vape on the first one that you know on the 20th. I mean, the list goes on and on.
Yeah, it's what's really cool about our Vaporfection line is it's convection heating. It's not
convection heating.
Your normal run-of-the-mill heat source. And you can actually dial it up volcano style to a certain degree, which is phenomenal. That's what our tabletop version and also our handheld version has a digital readout of the actual degree, so you can be in control of the entire experience, which is fantastic. Because when I looked at the space, I'm like, why do we need to pick up a vaporizing company? There's just so much. There's just so many out there.
Right.
But I wanted it to be different, and this truly is different. So I didn't mind spending time and money and energy on developing it so that patients and recreational users can benefit.
Gotcha. Go ahead, Alan. Sorry, I kind of butted in there.
Oh, no problem. So Vincent, one of the things that I noticed was at the end of 2011, that was 2 years ago, you had yourself, you were the CEO at the time, and Dr. Bedrick was a board member. You had a treasurer, Leela. You had another director, Christine Collins, and you had another board member, Angelique Dolan. All three of those people have left, so it's just the two of y'all now. And it's just the two of y'all, right?
Let me clarify. The board that you just mentioned was the predecessor's board, along with the board that I brought in when I took over full control of MedBox's shares.
Right.
So the other board members ceased to exist once full control was in my possession. And the bottom line is, as I touched on before, in private email exchanges with you, Alan, our board is a little light right now, and in 2014, what we're trying to do and what we will be doing is bringing in some gray-hair experience. And I say that because the reality is that no matter how much of an entrepreneur I am at 35 years old, and I just celebrated my 35th on Christmas Day a few days ago, so
happy birthday! Big month for Genifer too. But she's not 35; she's 25.
Ah! Yeah, right.
You're scoring points, Alan. You're scoring points. Lot of birthdays in December, I've noticed.
Sagittarius, go! Woo!
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, Capricorn on this end. So I totally understand the fact that our board is a little light, and me being 35 years old, I brought the company to a certain point, and I realized that in 2014, with Tom Iwanski, which is our CFO that's going to be coming in the first quarter of 2014, that's already starting to manage all the books and finance.
He'll be full-time, you're saying?
He'll be full-time. We're also going to be, Bruce is the CEO, Bruce Bedrick. He's done all of our television appearances, and I'm the Chief Operations Officer. Bruce is more likely than not going to be remaining as CEO, and we're just going to be bringing in a really nice supporting cast. I tried to do that in the early part of 2013, and I was just met with treachery. It was horrible because you try to go.
Are you talking about Russ Smith? Is that part of that?
Yeah. You try to go through the appropriate channels to source, use headhunting agencies and pay top dollar for really good candidates, and they just turn out to be, Rosemary's Baby. It's just horrible. It's just horrible. But
okay, but from an outsider's perspective, and that's truly my perspective, just to see, a company with, 500, 600 million market cap and just two directors and an inability to attract new directors and then losing. I don't know all the circumstances behind Mr. Smith's departure, but
I don't think it's
you understand the point, right?
No, well, clearly, I don't. Okay. I don't think it's the inability for us to attract candidates. We get resumes on a daily basis. It's the fact that I'm trying to solidify the revenue streams that we're going to be carrying into 2014, 15, 16, and 17, which we have through the deals that we've done. Through our partnership with the Canadian Lab, where they have a free market in Canada starting next year, and we partnered up with the Canadian Lab that's going to be getting their distributor's license. Things like that are stuff that other companies in our space are simply not doing. We are very forward-thinking in that way. So I wanted to basically create all of those revenue streams, and then in the first quarter of 2014, don't be surprised if you see a big announcement. Don't be surprised if you see a big announcement where we basically come out and say, hey, we have this person for the CFO seat, and this we're going to be basically announcing all that in short order. So it's a focus of mine. All right.
Well, so let's take a different tack here because I'm just trying to keep up with your efforts to be a publicly traded company, and I have a bunch of press releases. I hope I have every play-by-play called right here, but you just called off your S1, and you're going back to the Form 10 route. But if I can just, for those who aren't familiar, or just so we're all on the same page, in January, a year ago, almost, you talked about an infusion of capital of $30 million, and I'm reading this press release that you guys put out. It said, an affiliate of yours will begin liquidating shares of MedBox, yada, yada, yada. will not be making a public offering of shares and will file a Form 10. That's what was said in January. And then all of a sudden, February, there's talk of this $6 million equity transaction with a private investment firm. I've never been able to see what happened with that. That appears not to have closed. I'll let you address that in a second. Then we went through a Form 10. Then that was pulled, and we went through an S1, and there were delays, and then there's an S1 canceled, and now you're talking Form 10 again. I mean, this is the most confusing thing I've ever seen.
Okay, well, let me address that in 4 sentences. It's really, really simple. Initially, in January, when the share price was high, me as an entrepreneur thought to myself, let me give back to the company and let me try to finance the company through selling my own shares in the public markets and bringing all of that cash, every single penny, back to the company in order to fund our expansion. Well, I basically announced that, and I realized that the market might react negatively to that news, that those shares would be traded and sold online by, no matter what I did with the money, even if I gave it all back, which was the plan, I thought that it might aid in market volatility. So I pulled that plan. So that was pulled. Then we always stated that once our stock basically spiked, there's 2 ways I could have gone about it as an entrepreneur. I could have kept our company in the dark and not gone fully reporting, not gotten audited, but I decided not to go that way. That would have been, as on a business level, for me financially, it probably would have been the easiest way for me to retire with $100 million. But that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to build a solid brand and a solid company. So what I did is I basically fell on the sword as a businessman for myself, my own interest, and I said, we're going to be a fully reporting company because, remember, we got all of our fame while we were a non-reporting, in-the-dark company. We didn't have any fun. We had quarterlies posted voluntarily, but we decided to take that leap into the light. And the reality is we filed our Form 10, we did that, and then we decided to file an S1 based on advice from Securities Counsel that said if you have a Form 10 on file, it would confuse the examiners at the SEC if you also filed an S1. So you need to work with one or the other. So we were trying to raise capital for our future endeavors, and I'll also jump back to that $6 million infusion that you were talking about too, and I'll address that. But we filed the S1 in order to do expansion capital, but then we decided as we were getting further and further along where we were about to go effective with that S1, our stock price was dwindling, and it might have been as a result. As a company, I don't know. I don't know if it was as a result of the S1. Who knows? But we saw that the market start to really trickle the price down, and out of respect for the shareholders, we decided to pull the S1. There would have been 3.5 million free trading shares at that point added to the float between our 3 million that we were selling and the 500,000 that we were registering up. We alleviated market pressure by doing that, and we also announced that all of our shareholders would receive 100% dividend of stock. Since that announcement, our stock is up 50%. Now, again, we don't rely on what our stock is trading at to document our success, but at the same time, I think it's really a feather in our cap that we really, look after our shareholders as much as we do, and we care about how we're viewed. As far as the and then we were filing our Form 10 to go fully reporting because that was the plan in the first place, and we're sticking to that plan with no deviations. So that Form 10 is on pace to be filed within the next few days, and we will be fully effective with the SEC within 60 days of that filing, regardless of how many comments. And we don't expect many because we've already been through a few rounds of comments, so we've already adequately addressed all the SEC's concerns. And as far as the $6 million capital infusion that you're referring to, it was simple. This particular company, a private company, was interested in our stock, bought restricted shares to the tune of $1 million worth of shares at $10 a share with a year hold.
I've never seen that in your filings.
I'm sorry, say that again?
I read your filings. I've never seen that sale disclosed in your filings.
Oh yeah, it's there. It's there.
Okay.
I'll go ahead if Genifer wants to do a follow-up to this interview. I'll be happy to do it, but I'll send the documents to you as well as Jennifer, so you guys can comment on it later if you don't want to.
Okay, well, go ahead. You're saying that, and I have not seen that. But
you guys,
there was $1 million.
Okay, stop. Stop. We need to take a quick break right now, so just hang on, but people can hear, so please just don't say anything, okay? And we'll be right back.
Cannapunch is a delicious and effective medical marijuana beverage proudly made right here in Colorado. Each bottle is freshly infused with 100% pure flower extract from the highest grade marijuana plants available today. Using proprietary extraction methods, every bottle of Cannapunch is consistently and reliably infused with an exact milligram dosage that you can count on to relieve your symptoms each and every time. Cannapunch is delicious. There's never any medicine-y taste. We use only 100% cannabis flowers. No trim or byproducts are ever used in Cannapunch. It does not require refrigeration and comes in convenient, resealable multi-dose bottles from 60 milligrams to 200 milligrams. We have drinks with dosage that works best for you. Cannapunch is available in a variety of delicious flavors like black cherry, watermelon, pineapple mango, and blue raspberry. And we now have strain-specific beverages available just for you. Cannapunch is delicious, convenient, consistent, and effective. Give it a try and experience the Cannapunch difference.
Call Genifer at 1-800-420-5757 for all your insurance needs. Genifer understands the risks you face each day, and we are there to protect your business and your investment. Since 2010, Genifer has been serving the cannabis industry nationwide. Call Genifer at 1-800-420-5757 or visit us on the web at cannasure.com to learn more about our insurance and risk management services. Proud member of the NCIA.
I'm Gary Johnson, and you're listening to iCannabis Radio, and I want to say, talk it up, Colorado.
Okay, so sorry about that, you guys. I'm supposed to take a break every 15 minutes, and I just have wanted to let you guys talk. So sorry.
No, we appreciate it, Jennifer. We realize
yeah, no problem.
Keep the lights on over there too.
Yeah, no kidding.
To get back to what Alan was saying, it's in our original S1 filing. It's under the notes section, the financial footnotes. We specifically mentioned that this transaction was entered into by this company. They filled the $1 million worth of the transaction in purchases of restricted stock, and then the $5 million was supposed to happen, but the company wanted to renegotiate because the price went down a little bit. So they ended up buying some of our receivables at face value, and we let them out of that contract. So as it turned out, we received $3 million of the $6 million, and it was a great deal for us because we basically got to sell shares and restricted basis, so they're long in our company.
So one of the things in your last filing, or maybe it's in the S1, I'm not sure, that it looks like you guys were selling stock all year at $5, restricted stock. But in subsequent to Q3, so sometime after September 30th, here we go, 255,000 shares at $1,075,000. That works out to less than $5. What's going on with that?
Well, you got to understand that during the time from January all the way up to October of this year, we were dealing with a price that didn't necessarily reflect what our revenues were. I mean, people were buying our stock based on what we could do in the future and the fact that we were the company that was poised to benefit the most out of all the legalization that are happening nationwide. So with that being said, with our price that high, I also didn't want to get into a situation where we were selling restricted stock where people would have to hold on to it for a year and selling it at $30 or $40, because at that time, at that point, you run the risk, if the price declines, for those people to be upset, and reasonably so. So what we did is we said, look, if you're going to be long in our company, we will give you restricted stock at a discount. And that really worked out well for those shareholders, and it worked out well for the market too, since everybody got double their shares through our announcement of the dividend. So, and the price is on.
I understand, but why did the price fall below $5 after September 30th is what I'm asking.
Why did the price fall below $5?
Yeah, all year you're selling restricted stock at $5, and it seems like after September 30th, according to your filing, subsequent event, it's like $4.22.
No, that's not accurate. I mean, we didn't sell it for under $5.
It says, I'm reading, I'll just quote it just so you know what I'm saying. Since September 30th, 2013, the company entered into various agreements for the issuance of 255,000 restricted shares for an aggregate of $1,075,000. So I did the math, that's 422.
Okay.
All right, not a big deal.
No, it actually is, because
Yeah.
we're trying to be as transparent as possible. So if there's a typo somewhere, then we will address it. And I
Okay, but it's not a big deal, Vince. Let's move on. You seem to be enthusiastic about this stock split. I'm looking at it in horror. Maybe I'm wrong, and you can convince me of that. But you basically have gone to all your common shareholders, and you're saying we're giving you an extra share. I'm looking at it as like, no, on half their stock, they have to keep it. Now, if you're right and you're able to get your Form 10 approved like you say, then I think they won't have to keep it more than 6 months. But if you're wrong, they may have to keep it for a year, if I understand the rules right. But how is that a good thing?
Let me clarify. It's a matter of right that after we file our Form 10 within 60 days, we are deemed effective. So once we file that document, we are deemed effective regardless. So that addresses your first point in saying, will this Form 10 be approved by the SEC? That's a fait accompli. It's done. So there's no issue on that. Secondly, you basically say that once we announced our dividend of 100%, let's say less than 2 weeks ago. Since then, our price has gone up 50%. We were trading
for now. That's right.
Now, I'm sorry. Say that again.
For right now, at this moment, that's true.
Well, yeah, but we're dealing in the moment. We can't deal in what will happen tomorrow or.
Am I looking at it wrong, Vincent? That people have to hold on to their stock for at least 6 months and up to a year. Although the up to a year doesn't, you're ruling that out. It sounds like, but that you're basically locking up your common shareholders, which you're a common shareholder too, but you're locking them up. I mean, I just couldn't imagine if somebody said, "Hey, Alan, congratulations on your investment. You have to hang on to it for the next 6 months, though, because you've been selling stock all year at a huge discount based on that principle of being locked up."
We've been getting a favorable outcry from our shareholders that they absolutely love our company and they support us. The reality is that what I did is we didn't double the preferred. So Bruce and I hold all of the preferred shares, which are about 15 million.
Right, I understand this.
We just doubled the common. So we gave the common shareholder more voting power and more equity in the company, and then transfer equity in the company of about 4%, roughly 3.5% or 4%. That translates into a lot of money that we transferred as far as the equity is concerned. To me, that's a benefit, and obviously the market, it seems like they're reacting well to it.
So is there a precedent? I can't say I've looked at every single stock. Do you have a precedent?
We also announced it with the fact that we're not registering up 3.5 million shares that would have hit the float. Right. And reality is, Alan, you're a smart stock player, and it was wise for you to be short in our company, possibly. With that,
say that again about being short. I'm sorry, I didn't understand that.
Well, I mean, listen, the public.
He said you were shorting their company. You were smart because you were shorting their company.
Oh no, that's not true, Vincent. So. If you have some sort of evidence of that, present it, but I will categorically deny that because that's not true.
What I will say is this. I believe the public deserves the same level of transparency from its financial analysts that it expects from its public companies. I'm a CFA and I disclose, so if you were saying I'm a liar, that's... No. Let me just say this. These analysts publicly give stock advice. And unless they publicly state where their investment positions are, those analysts are risking their credibility, the sanctity of the market, and people's hard-earned money.
Okay, well, I disclose. I have no position, Vincent.
Well, you basically say that on your company website, that you have no positions, but then you...
No, on any article I've ever mentioned you, if I were to lie about that, not only would it cost me my ability to write on Seeking Alpha, but it would also cost me my CFA.
And Alan, I'm not taking an open shot at you. What I'm saying is I want the same type of transparency that you're asking of me. I would like it of you. And when you put on your website that you don't have any positions, and you update that site regularly, and then you tweet that you have sold a lot of Grow Life shares for a profit 2 weeks ago. I mean,
you want to know what that's about?
When you're writing about MedBox stock, obviously that's Grow Life is a competitor of ours, or they're trying to be.
What?
So just so you understand that, Vincent, I have a trade alert service. It's not me personally. It's a trade alert service.
Right. So when you tweet that you sold a bunch of Grow Life shares...
Well, it's an auto form. It's not me. It's the alert service.
Oh,
so you understand that.
I mean, the point is when you basically state on a website that you don't have any positions...
I have no personal
tweeting, on the other hand, that you sold PHOT, Grow Life shares, and that happened simultaneously with you kind of writing disparaging remarks about our company, MedBox.
But hold on a second. I know, Vincent, that you said that you're a direct competitor with Grow Life, and I mean you're in the same space, but they have completely different focal
Genifer,
point. And
you might want to look at their press releases. They just announced that.
I'd say Vincent's right. The new kiosk, there's some overlap.
The kiosk. I'm sorry, I forgot about the kiosk because it's brand new.
I mean,
sorry, my apologize.
Whole system.
My apologize. My apologies.
No, it's okay. It's all right. It doesn't. And listen, Alan, I'm not taking shots at you. The reality is we all have to coexist in this industry together. I just want you to have more accountability. That's all. Just like you want.
I feel like I have plenty of accountability, but maybe we can talk about that if there's something that you see that you don't like. But can we get back to the line of question about your company?
Well, is an interrogation officer? I mean,
well, hold on a second. I understand stock prices, shares, blah blah blah. But what's important to me, and I think that what's important to stock investors is what are the sales? How many MedBoxes have you sold? I mean,
okay.
and what else are you selling? Because where my stickler, honestly, is consulting. Okay, Colorado is by far the furthest state that's been under regulation, licensing, having to deal with all of that. And so, I think that if I was getting, starting a business, that I would start with probably Colorado for a marijuana consultant. So who have you consulted, and for besides Arizona and that licensee group, who else have you been consulting with, and who besides Arizona have you gotten a license for? Because I know in California there aren't licenses. You don't consult.
Exactly.
So
right.
where?
So Genifer, I'm sorry to interrupt. You're 100% right. Colorado would have been fantastic if I started my consulting business in 2008, but it wasn't like that. The market was already, at that point, saturated with people that had licenses. So,
No. I don't mean you consulting in Colorado. I mean getting consultants out of Colorado, because we have the most experience with regulation and getting licenses and compliance and all of that. Well, besides Arizona, where else have you been? Because you pride yourself on consulting and how you guys are one of the best consulting firms, and I didn't even know MedBox consulted until like 4 or 5 months ago.
Okay, well, we have over 150 turnkey facilities that have been erected since 2009.
In Arizona?
No. California, Arizona. We've also had Washington that we did work for. We've also...
what kind of work, though? I mean, are you talking about putting MedBoxes in, or are you talking about... What are you consulting on is my thing.
Obviously, it's licensing. So it's
Okay, so Washington, there's no licensing
yet. When somebody calls us we match entrepreneurs with different cannabis business opportunities. So if somebody calls us from, let's say, Oregon and says, hey, MedBox, we know that you guys are pretty savvy in this industry. We would like to get a dispensary going in Oregon. So we go ahead and we set up their nonprofit entity. We contact realtors in their area. We find appropriately zoned premises through county maps and different site planners. We do all of that legwork for them, and we also prepare their application for dispensary. And then once they're permitted, we then go in and we build their actual dispensaries and outfit their dispensaries with our technology. So we're like a one-stop shop for everything related to a new business opportunity in this market. And we've done it and when you say California doesn't have permitting, sure, but different cities in California do.
Yeah, but it's not. There's no licenses. There's no.
No. Well, with all due respect, you're wrong, because in California,
there's state licenses.
We follow the Attorney General guidelines, which basically state if you have X, Y, and Z, and they check them off, the state Attorney General guidelines, and you have permission from your city, you're allowed to erect a dispensary. Getting permission from a city is. You have no idea how much red tape is involved in that. It involves
I sure do.
In front of the zoning commission and city planners, and actually making a case of why a dispensary wouldn't be a hindrance on the community in that area.
And so how many clients do you have that do that? How many consulting clients do you have right now that you're helping for compliance and licensing? And which states are those in? I'm just curious.
Okay, we have orders for over 200 machine placements in Massachusetts, Washington, Nevada, Illinois, San Diego, California, and Oregon. Already confirmed. We have those contracts that we're doing, and we're getting dispensary licenses in those markets. We've already filed our applications in Massachusetts. We've already filed our applications in Washington for our clients. Nevada and Illinois are happening next year, in the early part of next year. And San Diego, we just went through a long ordinance process, and we actually got our technology written into the ordinance, which is a major accomplishment. So these are all things that we're doing. And what we've done in the past, we've targeted a lot of different states, and we've had a lot of success. I haven't tried to infiltrate Colorado because I'm not talking about Colorado. I'm talking about my parents live in Arizona. And that was going to be the first place I opened a second business. And so I went to meetings. I met with people. I know a lot of people down there. And I have to say, I haven't talked to one that loves their MedBox. One is the storage is very poor, that there's not enough, that they have to refill it constantly. 600 slots is not enough. That machine can store literally 25 pounds. So I don't know what in the world I would love to have one of those operators on the show with me.
Well, I'm having they're actually typing in right now to iCannabis Radio. Right now, I'm getting people and honestly, Vincent, I don't want to make this into something nasty at all. That's why I haven't said anything. But I mean, we're talking. So you don't have any unhappy customers at all, Vincent? None?
I told you about the 1%. Now we literally have
the 1%. Would that be like Prodro?
Say that again.
Would the 1% include? Just want to make sure. Nonprofit Patient Center, David Pizer, Brinkowski.
Yes, these are clients that did not pay.
Okay, so that's in the 1%.
They're literally operating a dispensary without paying a dime to our company.
Got it.
A dime.
Right.
So
so it couldn't have been.
And they're open, and then they send me nice emails and say, Vincent, we're so happy that we're open. Thank you so much. Can we pay you in installments? The $300,000 that you're out. Can we pay MedBox in installments of $2,000 per month? Is that okay?
So that's an outlier, Vincent. There's not a lot of that.
So
there's like I said, there's 1% of our 400 clients that we've served since 2010. That have a grievance, and they all happen to owe us money.
Okay, that's.
Well, bring them on, Genifer.
I don't want to bring them on. My job here is just to educate people about the industry. That's it. I know that people.
And I get it.
Yeah,
I'm very passionate about the company that I founded, and I care about what people think. So that is why
you do, or you wouldn't have got on here.
That's the approach. Go ahead.
I said you do, or you wouldn't have got on the radio show, and I appreciate that. I am just simply trying to share with you. What's coming over we have an IM system, and there's questions and there's concerns and there's people that personally that I know that have not got what they thought they were going to get from consulting to the MedBox.
I have yet to be aware of one single client in Arizona or any other market that is the least bit upset with our company, that claims they did not get what they were promised, that has paid their bill in full. And we have, I can put on one hand, I can count 4 different clients, and they all happen to be in Arizona. And those are the clients that didn't pay their bill, and they obviously have grievance for a reason, because they would appear like absolute douchebags if they didn't at least call into question something regarding this company when they owe us money. We do a job for our clients, and we do a good job. And I care about every single client we serve. But when they basically don't follow through with their agreements and initially say, hey, Vince, can we renegotiate this? And we say, sure, what do you want to do? And then they outright stiff us after we deliver.
Real quick, we're going to, sorry about that. Hello?
You guys still there?
I am. I dropped out for a second.
Sorry. We're trying to answer a call. Hold on one second.
Oh.
This is Genifer with In the Lab with Genifer. You're live. Can you please turn down? Can you please turn down the volume in the back? I'm so sorry. Okay. Are you there? Hello. Hello.
Yeah, yes, I'm here. I'm here.
Okay, great. What can I do for you?
Sorry, I had to mute your system here. So this gentleman has quite a system that I have seen here in Arizona several times, and I am a connoisseur that goes around to many of them dispensaries.
Yeah.
And I've seen this system firsthand at work, and it is a very nice, expensive refrigerator. Every time I get medicine out of it, they have to open the machine like you're opening a soda pop machine to refill it. So they have to reopen the door and pull the medicine out by hand like you're refilling a soda pop machine. It is great. The problem that I see with it is there's a line waiting for them to reopen the machine every time a customer comes in. And there's no one that can just doesn't put the medicine in there, and I don't it just never automatically responds.
Hey, Genifer, if you want to arrange a time where any one of our clients, our actual clients, can call in.
Well, no, but that's a valid.
Discuss our technology.
That's a valid.
What this gentleman is talking about?
Yeah, I'm just
is not accurate. So, but that's all right. Everybody's entitled to their opinion, and that's okay. What I want
just said
is
he liked
an actual operator to call in and talk about their experience, and we can arrange that too.
Hey, Vincent, can I ask a question? Why don't you have some testimonials? That's one of the things I've been unable to find. I see a lot of bad stuff, and I don't want to. I know people, especially if they're not paying their bills. I can understand that, but I never see.
Excuse me.
Stories
Wait, real
of
quick.
the people that you're talking about.
What? It's okay.
You never see any testimonials.
In other words, you just got upset because this customer was complaining about his experience, and you said that you want to talk to the operators. Why don't you have these operators talking about the positive experience. I've never seen that on your website.
We don't have testimonials on our website, but
why not?
we can easily get 20, 30, up to 100 testimonials as to who we've helped, how we've helped them. It's not all about the technology. The reality is that our company bases itself on the technology, but we do so many other things. And I view MedBox as to retail what the personal computer was to the office 30 years ago. So there's a lot of kinks that need to be worked out. But we're a company that is staying on it. And if anybody listening thinks that Microsoft or Apple was, blazing trails 30 years ago, they weren't. I mean, their equipment was looked at as alien. People didn't understand it. But the reality is, the reason why our operators like it is because it keeps the inventory fresh. It makes sure that every single transaction is documented. And
which so does seed to sale.
Well, no,
systems.
Not necessarily, because this particular system actually tracks what is being dispensed. With seed to sale, you don't necessarily have that.
Oh, you definitely do, yeah. And in fact,
no, I mean, you can't track what's actually physically being dispensed at a given time. You can still have the operators finagle with the numbers a little bit.
No, because a lot of people are pre-packaging, and there's really not a lot that they can be fudging at, for sure. But you know what? I mean, I know you dismissed the caller, but I know for a fact right now that January 1, these dispensaries are going to have lines out the door. So he has a point that if they had MedBox.
Do you understand that you don't have to open the technology to get dispensed? That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
But he obviously saw it. He obviously saw that there in Arizona.
No, the point of sale dispenses after every transaction. It happens quicker, so you can literally have a dispensing happen within 5 seconds, and the patient is up and on their way. So.
So why are they opening it?
I would love for him to identify which facility he saw that in.
Okay, I'll see if I can get that for you, Vincent.
I would love to have that facility owner on the show too, because I deal with every single problem I've ever had in my life head on, and I'm very passionate about this company, and that's why we're as successful as we are. So,
how about this problem, Vincent? You guys put out guidance earlier this year for $17 million in sales this year, and now you're trumping up. You're excited because it's going to be $6 million, 1/3 of what you had said. You said that you had a customer financing program, and that you're going to do a quarter of your business in Colorado and Washington. And if you look at what actually happened, you reported that your sales last year were going to exceed $5 million. It got revised twice, and you ended up pushing a lot of that. It was knocked down to $3.5 million roughly, and you pushed a lot of that into this year. So it really makes the $6 million look pretty pathetic this year. Now I understand Arizona was an issue, but does that explain that huge discrepancy?
Not at all. Actually, with all the impediments that we had in front of us, with the acquisitions that didn't go well, we kind of looked at this as a formative year, because the first 5 years of any company, I kind of view it as like rearing a child. You're basically in your formative years. And MedBox is in year 4 at this point, and we're doing phenomenally well. We're the only company in the sector that is public and is posting any type of positive income or revenue.
Is that true, Alan?
Worth looking at. So
is that true?
It's true. There is positive, not cash flow though, but positive net income.
No, but nobody has net income in the 18 publicly traded marijuana companies.
I haven't seen one.
Well, Fusion Farm reported it. It's very small.
Right. So
I double check it. Let's just say Vincent's pretty much right on that, if not entirely right. There's not a lot of profits in the sector.
Right, and that's not easy to do. The fact is, we still managed to pull a profit this year under pretty intense circumstances, with different things happening and not happening the way we wanted them to. We still had a dynamite year. I'm super excited about what happened. The guidance that we put out is guidance, and a lot of that revenue, we have about $10 million in backlog revenue that we haven't even reported as revenue yet. These are contracts that are yet to be fulfilled, but these are signed contracts. So we're bringing that into 2014.
Right. I think I heard you say $20 million is now what you say for 2014. Is that what you said in the interview?
My estimation in the interview I did this morning that got posted is that $20 million is not an overshot by any stretch of the imagination.
I thought you just said that's your guidance, so you're doing $20 million. But,
if we're estimating that as what we might do in 2014, it's based on the fact that Nevada, Illinois, and Oregon are all doing dispensary programs, and that's our bread and butter. So,
okay, I just found out some breaking news. I have 3 dispensaries that were listed, and that's Nature's Wonder, Herbal Wellness, and Springerville.
Nature's Wonder, Herbal Wellness,
and Springerville.
And okay, and what is this about? Are they on the phone?
They say that they're not happy with their MedBox.
Great, let's arrange a talk. Nature's Wonder specifically owes money, and the other ones as well. I think you're basically bringing up the 3, and the 4th is the one that we're suing, nonprofit patients. So, yeah, let's have it out. I can bring 16 other ones that are extremely happy with their technology. So,
I got to say this. I'm not criticizing. I'm just saying from an outside observer, it would be great if you could do that.
Yeah, what was that?
It would be helpful, I think, to investors in general if you were able to tell your story instead of just what you say, to be able to have these third parties talk about the value that MedBox brings to them. I think that would be very helpful, and it's just not out there. I'm not saying it's not there. What?
You know what we do, though, Alan? We save that for clients that call us. We're the only consulting firm that doesn't allow clients to compete against one another. So when they get a zone in a new state, that's their zone. So we don't allow competition between clients. That's one of the reasons why clients sign with us over and above our technology.
You have no zones in Massachusetts? None of your clients in Massachusetts have the same zone?
Are competing against each other. None.
Okay.
None. And that's one of the major perks in working with us, because we like to treat each individual client like family. So we don't let them compete against one another with our technology. So in every single zone that we apply, whether in Nevada or
with the MedBox,
Oregon,
you mean? With the MedBox, you mean? Yeah.
Right.
I meant as far as you are consulting on behalf of 2 licensees in the same place.
Well, we only consult with regards to the MedBox. So we would never have a client in the same zone. 2 different clients in the same zone, ever.
Okay, what about Chino Valley?
Rudy Alarcon owes us money. That's great.
Okay.
Bring them on.
God, they all owe you money, man.
It sounds like a lot of people are owing you money.
Sounds like a lot of people owe you guys money.
Those are the 4. Those are the 4.
Well, you said those were the 3 before, and now you're saying those are the 4.
I didn't even hear what you said, one of the other ones. I thought Rudy Alarcon and Chino Valley was the one. You mentioned the nonprofit name of that one. So.
Okay. I have no idea about any of these. I'm simply reading it.
And the reality is, our testimonials we save for our clients that call us, and they want to actually hear their experiences, other clients' experiences with our consulting, and we give them that. That's what other firms don't do. If you talk to other consulting firms, they will never give you references.
Oh, that is an absolute lie. I know right off the top of my head.
I know a ton of them.
I know Canna Advisors and Denver Relief Consulting. They absolutely do give their, and they're the top 2 consulting probably across the country.
So I guess we're part of the good ones that do.
Okay. Because, I mean, I don't know who would give, I would never give a consultant money without talking to their previous clients.
And that's why we're successful
that's crazy.
We are. Because they talk to our previous clients, and they get rave reviews for how we support them.
So you don't have any unhappy clients right now that don't owe you money?
No. I will go ahead and put a test to the audience. Show me an unhappy client that doesn't owe the company money.
But see, I'm sure a lot of these people feel like they're going to get some backlash. And I can honestly tell you, I did meet somebody at a symposium, and they're scared to death. Scared to death.
What?
Said that they just have
being
not.
Sued.
That they have not
I'm
had.
Scared,
that they're not. Hold on. Let me finish, please. That they have not had a good experience. They feel like they have wasted, and I believe it was $20,000 to $40,000, and they will not come forward because they're afraid of the backlash.
Are you kidding me? You're basically telling me
I'm not
that
kidding.
A client won't come forward because they're afraid of what might happen if they basically say that they've had a negative experience with MedBox.
No, that basically they have not experienced any of the things that MedBox has promised in the consulting arena.
You know what? If you find one brave enough.
I know you're making fun. I know you're making fun of it, but you shouldn't make fun of it. People are scared.
What I'm basically saying is what you're saying is ridiculous.
Well, it can be.
I don't mean to be rude to you. I really don't mean to be rude. But what you're saying doesn't make sense.
I totally can appreciate that you feel that way, but I totally understand it. I mean, there's huge backlash. We've dealt with over 400 clients. If you're saying one of our clients is out there in a bubble and refuses to talk to us about their negative experience, and they refuse to. Well, maybe they did talk to you. Maybe they did, and there was nothing that got done.
No, literally, I will tell you this much, and I can say this with 100% authority. I have not fielded one particular call from anyone that we have not performed for.
Okay, maybe you haven't. Maybe that's the key.
I will go ahead and I will say that, and then I will come back on the show if they have if they are brave enough to come back on the show and just have a simple conversation. Let's have a talk about it, because I will state that emphatically. I have not. So you will give a refund if
a customer feels like you're not doing what you should. Will you refund their money?
100%. If we didn't fulfill our contract to a T, yes. And trust me, in this economy, if we don't do what we say we're going to do with the name that we have and market capitalization, you better believe that they will come knocking, and they have. And anytime anybody's had a grievance, we've always dealt with it, and they've been happy.
Okay.
So what you're saying, I don't doubt what you're saying.
I would never make this up. Okay. In fact,
I'm not saying that. Yeah. I have better manners than that. But what I'm saying is something completely different. It doesn't really jive with what we're doing. But we've had over 400 consulting clients. If you're saying there's someone out there that is aggrieved and doesn't have the ability to speak up for themselves to us as the company that consulted for them, please, Genifer, you be the intermediary and bring peace to that situation.
Oh, boy.
Please, feel free to.
I would love to help them out, so I will go and talk to them and see what I can find out.
Fantastic.
But you know what? If you're a man of your word and you'll fix situations and that the only people that are unhappy are people that aren't paying you, then you know what? I mean, that's good.
You can't be in this industry otherwise. It's too small. People will talk.
I know. And I say that every day, Vincent. And then the people move. They go from Colorado to Arizona to Washington.
And that's one of the benefits of working with a MedBox, because we can't move. We're a public company. We don't have the ability of folding up the tables and leaving somewhere. What happened in California and Colorado in 2007 and 2008 is all these consultants screwed people. They took all this money for setting up dispensaries, and they vanished when they got closed down. And that's one of the reasons why it's important to have such a strong company in the space providing these types of services, because we basically stand up in the line of fire and we take bullets if we need to for our clients. And we do what's necessary, like we did in Arizona, for instance. Are we always going to be appreciated like we should? More times than not, we do, and that's enough for me.
Okay. Alan?
Oh, I think we've beaten this dead horse.
Okay.
Look, I really do wish you the best in 2014.
Thank you.
Yeah. Let's see what's going to happen.
I'll follow up with you offline for any issues that we have with each other.
I appreciate it. And Genifer, I'll be happy to appear on your show anytime you need me. And feel free to reach out via email as well.
Okay, great.
For the different things that we talked about.
Actually, Vincent, can you, I only got an email. I don't have yours. If you could personally email me at genifer@canlabs.com, that would be awesome.
Yeah, I've actually been communicating with you via email. That's my private.
Okay. I didn't know who that was. So.
No, that is me.
Okie dokie. Well, Alan, as usual, thank you so much. We're going to have Alan Brockstein on much more in 2014, talking about other MMJ companies. And Vincent, thank you so much for coming on. I know this wasn't easy, but I really appreciate you facing it head on, and we'll see how MedBox develops in 2014.
Thank you so
Happy
much.
New Year,
I really
guys.
appreciate it.
Happy New Year.
All right.
Bye-bye.